EURORDIS has given us policies, they've given us support, they've given us training and tools. We go over and take part in many of the things that have happened there, and we've become part of, we believe, an international movement in rare diseases. EURORDIS oftentimes forget, but Canada was the first country to actually take part in International Rare Disease Day, so 2009, before anybody else did, because we were there, and we said it's important. I believe so strongly in the alliances that Ramaja and John will know is that last year we launched the Asia Pacific Alliance of Patient Organizations. After about 3 years of coming together, meeting with various patient organizations in Asia, we recognize we cannot do it alone. We have to bring together the organizations. We have to support the national organizations so they can be stronger in going back to their policymakers. But we also believe that, as you have seen here, as one country advances, they will push the other countries to advance. And as patient organizations, what we learn from one country, we can carry into another country, collaboration skills, tools, everything that Virginia talked about earlier. I've been in Latin America as part of YAPO since about 2009, so it's a tragedy I don't actually speak Spanish, or better Spanish. I keep promising every year I will work on it. It hasn't happened yet. I will say I probably speak better Spanish than I do Chinese, which is a bigger tragedy. But anyway, and we have been so impressed by the way in which Latin America has come together. As YAPO, we now have almost 70 members from Latin America that are part of YAPO. And we are so very proud in terms of the kind of work that's taking place in Latin America. I think we have moved from our coming into Latin America and helping support Latin America grow to now Latin America being a regional leader and helping other countries grow. What Latin America is doing is actually helping all of the other regions, and also what Latin America is doing is really setting up models for what you can do as universal healthcare comes in. What you can do when you have very, very strong patient organizations which must really work hard to get their governments and get their health systems to respond. Latin America has really shown, I think, the way in many areas. And we think in rare diseases, no disrespect to our Asia Pacific Alliance, but we think the Latin America Alliance is probably a lot stronger. We think that you will help us in terms of organizing in other regions. I think what you have shown is that regional collaboration. I was very impressed with hearing your regulators talk about harmonization of the regulations in this area. For me, the next step will be harmonization of the health technology assessment so that you can get quicker reimbursement, better reimbursement, and that you can share in terms of the advances in terms of making drugs not only approved but available. And again, that will come from collaboration. RDI is going to be, I think, a huge asset on the international stage. Certainly if we can get the UN, the WHO to consider more importantly rare diseases, and I think we can only do that as a strong international collaboration. I think the other thing that's so strong about RDI, and if you looked at all the listers there, we are the only international alliance of patients organizations. So all the other groups are important, but without the patient organizations, nothing will happen. And I think by coming together as patient organizations, we will actually be able to change how the world actually treats rare diseases, how the world actually supports rare diseases. I think many of you are like me. We come into this, I have 2 children, both with rare diseases. I've been part of our rare disease organization in Canada. Sometimes we feel like we're struggling a lot. But then when we look at what other countries are doing and how we've been able to work together, we've seen some huge, huge progress. And we do know that, you know, as individuals, we can make a big contribution. I know no other area in which individual patient organizations can make such a difference. So for me, it's a big, I think, opportunity. We would love to see, I think, certainly the national organizations in Latin America all come and be part of RDI. I think you will get a lot out of it, but I will say, honestly, I think we will get more out of it as an international movement to have Latin America involved. I would think it's so important for the region to come together. And that for me is, we know that there are lots of challenges in collaborations. And we know that there are oftentimes, as Virginia says, we all have to see that there's more value out of collaborating than there is working alone. And that means that sometimes, she talked about the good parts. Sometimes we have to talk about the bad parts. The bad parts means that sometimes what I want, I'm not going to get because it's going to conflict with somebody else. Sometimes it means that I can't be the leader. I have to follow behind somebody else because it's going to be better for us if somebody else is taking the lead. Sometimes it means that we're going to have to compromise. And that's not that easy to do. But unless we do that. So to me, collaboration has three important things. One is that we share the same values and goals. Goals are important because that's what we want to achieve. Values are important because that's what's important to us. Two, we have to believe that by work, the only way that we can get what we want is working together. If we can't do it alone. And the third thing is that we have to trust each other. Without trust, there's nothing. I have to trust that when we agree on something, we will stick together. I have to trust that when I walk out of the room, you won't say bad things about me behind my back. I have to trust that if we agree that we're going to do something together, we will do it together, even if it's difficult. So I appreciate the opportunity. I really look forward to how we can continue to work together.
Quiero solicitarles a los queridísimos amigos que están en la mesa que nos permitan hacer una modificación porque una de las participantes toma su vuelo en los próximos minutos y queríamos hacer que puedan pasar para que puedan trabajar sobre el tema que iban a trabajar. Entonces, les solicitamos de la manera más atenta, nos disculpen por esta interrupción, pero hay dos diputadas que se van a ir y si no, no podemos terminar con el asunto. Muchas gracias.